Jom belajar cara melintas jalan. Lihat kiri, kanan, kiri sebelum melintas. Membantu pelajar melintas dan pastikan pelajar selamat sampai. Jangan tiru pemanduan seperti ini. Contohi pemanduan dan peraturan dengan berhemah.
Hello and good evening. You're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Hafiz Marzukhi. Budget 2025 is scheduled for tabling in Parliament on October 18th. According to Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil, the Prime Minister has instructed the Cabinet to begin holding stakeholder engagement sessions.
Jadi hasrat yang amat berhormat Perdana Menteri adalah untuk mendapatkan maklum balas daripada industri, daripada pemegang-pemegang taruh mengenai sama ada dasar, insentif, program, pelaksanaan, kekangan, cabaran, dan ini akan dibawa semula untuk penelitian di peringkat Kementerian Keuangan agar dapat disesuaikan dengan dokumen ataupun belanjawan 2025 nanti.
The upcoming budget is centered around the theme of Madani economy, prosperous nation and the people's well-being. It would continue to focus on achieving the goals set out in the Madani economic framework, enabling the country to become a leading economy in Southeast Asia.
The government is studying ways to crack down on fake accounts used for cyberbullying. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil says this includes reviewing existing laws as well as implementing new laws.
Pihak kementerian akan meneliti apakah cara-cara untuk mengurangkan keberadaan akaun-akaun palsu terutama yang disalahguna untuk tujuan melakukan bully cyber. Selain dari itu, ada pandangan dari beberapa orang menteri yang mengatakan undang-undang sedia ada sudah mencukupi. Yang kita perlu lakukan sekarang adalah swift, tough action against those who are cyberbullies.
Fahmi said he had updated the Prime Minister and ministers on the issue at a cabinet meeting on Friday, including on the recent incident where a woman who was believed to be a victim of cyberbullying was found dead in her apartment. More than 11,000 Malaysian professionals residing overseas have applied to return to Malaysia. Of the total, Human Resources Minister Stephen Sim says nearly 7,000 applications have since been approved based on records from Talent Corp's Returning Expert Program.
Stephen said various incentives were offered to attract high-skilled local talents back to Malaysia, including tax exemptions. He noted that the issue of brain drain was evolving towards brain circulation instead, as his ministry was finding ways for the Malaysian diaspora to contribute back to the country regardless of where they were based. Separately, Stephen revealed that professional expatriates only made up 7% of the workforce in Malaysia as of June 19th, with the rest being locals. This is based on the number of active passes issued by the Immigration Department's Expatriate Services Division.
Police have advised the public to ensure donations are made only to registered organizations that undergo audit processes. Federal Commercial Crime Investigation Department Director Datuk Sri Ramli Muhammad Yusof advises the public to be more careful in giving donations, especially involving suspicious individuals or unregistered associations.
He said the public's compassion and sympathy towards aiding those affected by disasters have opened doors for unscrupulous individuals to exploit under the guise of charitable donations. He stressed on the importance of knowing how donation funds are being used. Bank accounts of these donation-collecting organizations must also undergo audit processes to ensure that the donated funds are channeled to the rightful party. On Thursday, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission remanded 4 people, including a married couple who are influencers, suspected of being involved in the misappropriation of public donation funds. According to sources, the suspects, comprising 3 men and a woman in their 20s and 30s, were detained between 6:30 p.m. and 11 p.m. the night before when they came to give statements at the MACC headquarters.
We'll go for a short break. Stay with us.
UEFA Euro 2024 ke semua 51 perlawanan secara langsung di Spo TV dengan Astro.
Welcome back. The BRICS bloc of developing nations has recently moved to admit more member countries, underscoring the alliance's appeal to emerging and developing nations as platform for the Global South to express itself. However, the question remains, how significant will the bloc be as a major force in global economic governance, and is the bloc the new rival to the G7? Our correspondent Farhana Sheikh asked this to head of the BRICS Expert Council, Victoria Panova, in Russia.
And if you look at the two clubs, G7 and BRICS, you would definitely see that over the years of G7 existence, they never came up with any major initiative that would surpass that of the BRICS that they managed to have within even the first decade of their existence. And look at NDB. Very sensitive topics, money involved, governance involved. G7 don't have a structure like that, and BRICS does. And it grew into a real entity with actual projects and actual money spent for infrastructure projects in each of the BRICS countries, just within 2.5 years. G7 doesn't have it. And we know that experts from the G7 countries have were continuously talking about, oh, BRICS is nothing. First, they were saying BRICS will collapse next year, in 2 years. It won't exist, would cease to exist. Nothing happened. Nothing like this happened. It continued to grow in authority, to grow in membership, and it can now name not only NDB. They have this energy research platform, which also allows improving energy security situation in each of their BRICS countries. It has, there is more cooperation in agriculture. By the way, if you compare initiatives coming from the G20 on this information exchange system in agriculture and BRICS, there's much higher level of trust and interaction within BRICS, which allows for more cooperation in this area and for better output, thus providing for food security, right, than in the G20. And also, if you remember recently, and I think it was supported by BRICS members, there was a recent Russian proposal to create a grain exchange which would definitely provide for a better provision of food, for its members. Also, this working on their, so NDB is one, CRA, yes, it still needs to be elaborated a bit more. Contingency reserve arrangements still has a way to go, but I think this is what also is working. Also, if you look at BRICS in healthcare, I can just pick any topic. That's why I'm kind of jumping from one to the other. Healthcare. First of all, it was BRICS who came up with I think it was 2015, it was in Russia, when leaders actually warned the world of the dangers existing if no international cooperation would be upheld of some pandemic happening. So such a warning was held. Then we had in South Africa in 2018 decision of creating a virtual vaccine research center, 2018. And then we had 2020 pandemic. And when we have BRICS countries also helping each other in this regard. So energy, food, healthcare, finance, trade, name it, we can share and we can show practical results. Can the G7, who actually try to criticize and undermine it, show the same? I doubt it.
South Korea plans to mass-produce laser weapons to shoot down drones deployed by North Korea. Dubbed the Star Wars Project, the lasers will operate on electricity, costing $1.45 per shot.
The Defense Acquisition Program Administration said the weapons would be invisible, noise-free and require no additional ammunition. It would be designed to melt the body of drones and fry their electronics. The first laser system is set to enter operational development in the military this year. South Korea also aims to expand the program in the future to be able to hit much larger targets, including aircraft and ballistic missiles. The country joins the ranks of the US, UK and China among countries that are racing to develop and deploy laser weapons to shoot down aerial threats. Although the system has yet to be used, it comes as cheap drones dominate active battlefields around the world, including in the Russia-Ukraine war, along with Israel's offensive in Gaza and border fighting with Lebanon's Hezbollah.
Ukraine's top prosecutor has called for the International Criminal Court to prosecute Russia over a missile strike on a children's hospital in Kiev earlier this week. Prosecutor General Andrei Kostin told Reuters this in an interview in The Hague, where the ICC is based. Ukraine's capital suffered on Monday one of its worst days of airstrikes since the start of Russia's war.
For the sake of international justice, cases like intentional attack on the biggest child hospital in Kiev, I think it's worth lifting to the ICC. But we need to understand that it will be an independent, impartial decision of the Office of Prosecutor of the ICC whether to take or not a specific case. It's important to show that Russia itself at the moment is a criminal state. And actually, commission of international crimes, it's very important to mention that these crimes are named international because the premise, the territory where international crimes are committed is the earth. That's why they are named international crimes. And if we show such patterns, if we add more cases of the other type, let's say like this, and we are working on it with the team of the ICC, so we have plans for next years even.
Moscow denied attacking the hospital and has blamed Ukrainian anti-missile fire for the hit on the clinic, which is one of Europe's largest and treats patients with serious conditions such as cancer and kidney disease. A UN Reichs mission has said there is a high likelihood the hospital took a direct hit from a Russian missile, and Ukraine's security service said it had unequivocal evidence the medical facility was hit by a Russian Kh-101 cruise missile. Kostin in The Hague for regular meetings with legal officials said if the ICC took on the prosecution of the hospital strike, It could help establish a pattern of attacks that show Russia is committing crimes against humanity in Ukraine. The ICC's Office of the Prosecutor said on Tuesday one of its teams had visited the site of the hospital strike. While the ICC does not publicly comment on which indictments it is investigating, it has warned that anyone deemed responsible for attacking civilian sites could be prosecuted. And that wraps up this edition of AWANI Tonight. I'm Hafiz Marzukhi. Thanks for watching and good night.